And welcome back, everyone who is watching this afternoon's live stream of the 2016 Portland Masters. This is our 345 squad, and this is a mix of the 4 winners bracket matches and 4 losers bracket matches. After this squad, we'll be down to 12 competitors left in the tournament. At this point, half the field has been eliminated.
I think Lee Pond might be upset he didn't bowl.
Yeah, he already said he was.
Yeah.
Oh, I know why it happened. Okay, so right now we're watching Hugh Miller, and he has not missed yet. And right when I say it, he leaves a bucket.
It's like Blazer announcers announcing free throws.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is what I normally do is we're going to start down on 3 and 4, and we're going to summarize the matches that we have this afternoon, and it's round 6 of the Portland Masters. Oops. So down here on lanes 3 and 4, we have Kyler Crevier, who just did the unthinkable and took out 2-time champion Tim Myers convincingly in the last match. He's facing off with Switchfoot Rob Edwards. And already early on, I can see that Rob has a pretty sizable lead on Kyler. However, regardless of what happens for Kyler, he'll be very pleased with how this went for him. And let's go on to... And that was a good shot there by Kyler. Let's go on to Cameron number 2. Cameron number 2. We got 2 matches going here. On the right, here goes Daniel Jackson Jr. bowling against Ryan Losley, and Dan has a horrible break, leaving a dead flush 10 pin. These guys right here on these two pairs are part of the final 8 who have been undefeated. So you got Ryan Losley versus Daniel Jackson on 7 and 8. They're both 2-0. The losers of this match will just fall to the losers bracket. They will not be eliminated. Meanwhile, we've got David Grooms versus Craig Tucholsky on lanes 5 and 6. Okay. I think the beard threw me off. Oh, I got the wrong bracket up. That's why. I was looking at the bracket.
Oh.
Yeah.
Will you make sure it steals my phone just for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Craig Tucholsky versus Jake Clemson over here on 5 and 6. They're both undefeated. Ryan Losley on the right here, who just carried a nice wall shot there. He is undefeated and bowling against Daniel Jackson. Okay, let's move on to camera 3. And we have Hugh Miller with a strike there. Shocking, right? Our defending champion. He's at it again, stringing tons of strikes. Thus far this game, Hugh has a 5-bagger, 2 spares, and another strike, possible 262 the first game. He's bowling against Eric Jensen. These 2 matches also that we see on camera 3 are all the undefeated players. So we have Hugh versus Eric on the left. We have Marcus Winkelpleck bowling against Ian Willard on 11 and 12. Oh, and Hugh goes light there, so a little bit of a surprise. Marcus Winkelpleck with a strong start. Goes through the face there. He's got a pretty substantial lead of around 50 pins already on Ian Willard. Nice pitch there by Dan Jackson in his pajama pants. Let's see if Hugh can convert this 3-6-7-9 split in the 9th frame. Okay, so let's move down to camera 4 now. Okay, so on camera 4 here, we have some more losers bracket matches. Right here in front of me, I've got Johnny Leggett versus Les Forgash. Les with a clutch victory, just defeated Jason Lauer. 707 to 703. Jason Lauer becomes the second victim of the day, shooting 700 and losing. Johnny Leggett with a power shot. Belmonte's got nothing on him. And over here on the right, we have got the bearded one, the big red, David Grooms. He likes blue hair, and he likes the blue oil on tour. And he is bowling against Nick West. The losers of these matches on this camera 4 will be eliminated. And let's take a look on the end pair here. We've got a couple of left-handers. We have got Gary Lennox versus Ryan Nicholas. Ryan just finished up with a solid 222. It looks like Gary can punch out for 221. So that's pretty much a knotted match down there. All right. Marcus Winkelplek now has migrated in front of the ball return. And the front part of that lane is currently on fire. I just love watching this guy bowl. Here goes Johnny Leggett in a 10th frame. That's pretty powerful. He looks like he didn't like it, but when it hits light, he just pulverizes the pins. Okay, David Grooms now coming up, trying to salvage a 180 game. A rough start for David this match. Good pitch there. Okay, let's move down. Let's see if Leggett can double up here. He doubles up here, he's going to have a good 60-pin lead. Oh, and that was another half-pocket shot that ripped out the 10-pin with tremendous revolutions. All right, let's go down to the low end and see what's going on. We have got Eric Jensen sparing in the 11th frame for 217. Hugh Miller, who opened in the 9th frame, has a potential of 230. So that match is very close. Ian Willard leaving the baby split to start off game 2. Daniel Jackson leaving a 10-pin. Okay, and it looks like Ryan Losley shot 247. It looks like Daniel Jackson's going to shoot 227. So Ryan's going to have about a 20-pin advantage going into game 2. Once again, Dan sporting the pajama pants. Ryan Losley sporting the ponytail. And there's Craig Tuolsky. And let's take a look at 3 and 4. Looks like Kyler having a little bit of trouble early against Rob Switchfoot Edwards. Okay, let's focus back here on Hugh Miller, who has doubled in the 10th. If he strikes here, he will salvage a 230 against Eric Jensen's 228. So Hugh has an 11 pin advantage going into game 2 over Eric Jensen. I'll take a moment here to talk about our sponsors. First off, Kellogg Bowl, Milwaukee Bowl, the Husteds and the Oatkin family, B. Young RV, Reese's Fine Foods, Western Beverage, Pietro's Pizza, Clearwater Environmental, R&B Sales, Storm and Ebonite Bowling, and the Bowling Directions Pro Shop located here in Kellogg Bowl, Ron Morton. Is Ron Morton in the Hall of Fame? I wonder. He might be. He's a really nice guy. Another bowler who never shows emotion. He just gets it done. Okay, I've just been handed the scores from game one. Rob Edwards, 236. Kyler Crevier, 159. A 77 pin advantage for Rob. Okay, now let's go on over to camera 2. We've got a close one. Craig Tucholsky, 234. Jake Clemson, 225 for a 9-pin advantage for Tucholsky. Over on 7 and 8, we've got 247 for Ryan Losley. 227 for Dan Jackson. 20-pin advantage for Losley. Hugh Miller, 228. Eric Jensen, 217. That's an 11-pin advantage for Huey. Marcus Winkelpleck, 233 over Ian Willard, 186. 47-pin lead for Marcus. Johnny Leggett, 236. Les Forgash, 156. 80-pin lead for Johnny Leggett. Nick West, 204. David Grooms, 173. Leading to a 31-pin advantage for Nick West. And finally, on 17 and 18, the battle of two left-handers. It's a close one. Ryan Nicholas, 222. Gary Lennox with a 221. And right now, we've got Dan Jackson up here on lane 7. And this particular game, he is mirroring Ryan Losley's score. So Ryan is maintaining his 20-pin advantage for now. There goes the great Hugh Miller, and he gets the messenger on the 7-pin.
Oh, missed both of those pins.
Wow. He just missed a 5-pin. Huh. He'd still be even in the match.
Huh?
He would still be even in the match if we covered him. Looks like something I would have done. And Eric leaving a bucket combination here in the 4th frame. Not able to make up any ground yet on Huey. Nice shot there by Marcus Winkelpleck. Marcus Winkelpleck has been in a dead heat in all of his matches, and he's up by 4 after one game, and he's probably saying to himself, not again, but Ian gave him a little breathing room. So right now, halfway through the match, Marcus, he has a 30-pin lead, but if he doubles here, he will increase it to 40.
What was Miller?
Miller won 228 to 217 the first game.
Nicholas do?
222, 221. He's losing now. Lennox is shooting 250. I never realized that the Gary Lennox that bowled here when I worked here, I didn't realize that was fun until today. His son's a lot better bowler than his father. Remember the father?
No, I don't. Oh yeah, I talked to him.
Remember he used to bowl league here for years.
I remember that.
No, that's back in the 80s though. It's been a
Where
while.
are they at now?
He was here with his wife.
No, where do they bowl at?
I don't
where does he
know.
bowl
I
at?
don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. He bowls OBAs. He's made the top 5 a few times. He's a decent player.
Yeah, I talked to his dad and his mother. I don't think they're here anymore.
No, they were here earlier. Super nice guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I've got my desktop cleaned up. Oh, wait, wait. Okay. Okay, so right now we got Eric Jensen, and he's standing on the left side of the ball return to deliver the ball on lane 10. He must be standing on the 60 board, drifting, playing about 6th arrow. Oh, almost carries the 4 on a light hit. Okay, Ryan Nicholas. He can strike out for 227. Gary Lennox, however, shot 244. So that means that Gary has a 16-pin lead heading into Game 3 if Ryan strikes out. Once a year. Pretty fun. Oh, you're bowling great, man. That was a wonderful match to watch. Yeah, well, it's nice because we got So it looks like that Daniel Jackson has a nice string going this game against Losley, and he's probably taken the lead. Possible 279 for Dan. Meanwhile, over here on 3 and 4, Rob Edwards with a very comfortable lead. And Craig Tucholsky with a 259 opens up a substantial lead on Jake Clemson, who can only strike out for 188. Okay, Mr. Pajama Pants right here. Daniel Jackson is going to get up in the 9th frame and potentially have a 6-bagger and put a lot of heat on Ryan Losley. Once again, these two matches in front of us are all winners bracket competitors. Dan with a solid 7-pin. And that'll keep things close in that match. Jake Clemson is going to finish with a 188. He's going to lose by about 70 this match. Okay, let's go over here to a match of very high interest to many, which is defending champion Hugh Miller, who is bowling against the top qualifier for 2016, Eric Jensen. Hugh Miller is 59 years old. Eric Jensen's 21. Just goes to show you that if you keep your body in shape, you can still be a great bowler at 60 years old. Hugh Miller has always had an excellent regimen, still goes to the gym 3 days a week. He's always been a jogger and kept himself with a youthful body. He had, I believe, a shoulder surgery and he took some time off, but he came back last year off the shoulder surgery and won the Portland Masters over Blaine Weninger. And thus far in the match between Eric and Hugh, they both have a double and they're both clean. So that is proving to be maybe a little more of a moderate scoring pair. And it should be an exciting third game in that match. Now over here on 11 and 12, Marcus Winkelpleck has a 9-pin lead with a game to go. Another nail biter of a match. So Hugh did not strike in the 10th frame. He left a 3-pin, which means his max score is just 208. Eric Jensen can get up and shoot 225 and take a small lead into game 3 if he strikes out. Ooh, let me see a pocket 7-10 by Ian Willard. Not a good way to start a match that's even. You know, if Ian ends up losing by a mark or two, he's definitely going to point back to a couple of mental errors he made early in the second game where he missed a 5-pin and then he missed a multiple pin spare altogether, and Sometimes those things will come back to haunt you a couple games later in a 3-game match. And we know that Marcus has 9 lives so far today, throwing huge strings to barely win both of his matches. Okay, so Hugh shoots 228 and 207. That puts him at plus 35. Eric's got a 217 first game, a potential 225 here if he strikes out. It looks like he's made a ball change. And Eric throws a great shot in the 10th there, and that's going to close the gap. That's the 11-pin lead by Hugh Miller now has been trimmed down to single digits. He gets one more hit, and he will take a small advantage into Game 3. Once again, after this squad, we will be down to just 4 bowlers who are undefeated. Okay, Marcus Winkelplex standing in front of the ball return.
How much is Winkelfleck up by?
9. Well, it says 9. It says 9
more than
pins.
that, isn't
I know. I don't know if that's a mistake or not. I didn't see the end of the game. You know, Mike's got the scores. I'll go look.
Okay.
Okay, so apparently yeah, it says 9 up there. I thought it was larger than that, smaller. I could have sworn it was larger.
Cuts it off because his last name's so long.
That's what he was saying. It does that. I was just telling him it does that in my program too. Yeah. So, anyways, it's funny. It says it says Marcus is up by 9 pins, but he's actually up by 99. You can see in the upper right-hand corner where my mouse is. So actually, he has that match well in hand against Ian Willard. That match is over. Marcus looks like he's definitely going to be 3-0. So let's take a moment to summarize our matches. I'm going to go down to 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Let's start there. We've got Rob Edwards with a 91-pin lead over Kyler Crevier. Okay, and then over here on camera 2, we have got Two Holes, Craig Tucholsky, who's up right now on lane 5. The big loft playing the deep inside line. Tucholsky has an 82-pin lead over Jake Clemson. Daniel Jackson has a slim 14-pin advantage on Ryan Losley. Losley's up right now in the second frame with a spare up. 4-pin. I always refer to Ryan as the Kurt Cobain of bowling. He's in a rock band and has a ponytail. I like to give him a hard time. I don't get to see these guys too often. Okay, over here on the left we have Eric Jensen with a slim 7-pin advantage over the defending champion, Hugh Miller. And of course, on the right, we've got Marcus Winkelpleck with a commanding 99-pin lead over Ian Willard. And look where Eric Jensen is standing right now. He's standing on lane 9 and throwing it on lane 10. And he gets the 5-7 out. This could be Eric's year. If Eric beats Hugh Miller right here, this could be the pivotal match that gets him to the championship and top seed. Eric currently is Bowler of the Year in the OBA. He has got himself to be one of the top players in the Northwest at a very young age and has a very bright career. Nice shot there by Marcus Winkelpleck. I was just telling Marcus he needs to open the rest of the game to make it exciting. We're used to Marcus striking out in the 10th to win by a mark, but he's got a walk in the park this time. Looks like he's got it sewed up. Oh, and Eric goes through the face. That's going to be a barn burner between him and Huey. Hugh opened in the first frame, though. Okay, so moving on. And let's see what's going on right in front of me. I didn't even notice. We've got two guys with their front six. We've got Les Forgash and Johnny Liggett. Now, granted, it's not Les is down by 76. So, I mean, he knows that he's probably going to be eliminated from the tournament. He's not quitting. He's going to try to shoot a 300 and save face. So, kudos to him for not giving up. Let's see if he can put a 7-bagger on the board right now. Oh, and I jinxed him. I shouldn't have said anything. Okay, and over on the right here, we've got David Grooms. He is trailing by 45 to Nick West. And it looks like in this match, David's down by 10. So David's trailing by 55 with 4 frames to go, and he needs something good to happen. You know, maybe, I don't know, a grandma in a bathing suit. I don't know. Oh. And over here on the end pair, we got the dueling lefties. Ryan Nicholas playing the middle part of the lane now. You know, it looks like, ooh, and he trips a 6. It looks like they're drying out the front part of the lane. However, it looks to me like Gary Lennox has a potential game in the 230s. And if that were to occur, he would open up a good 30-40 pin lead over Ryan going into the last game. But here goes Ryan, 10th frame. He's got a potential 226 if he strikes out. And that's not good. So now he's got a potential 206 if he were to cover the 4-7. And he missed that spare. That's going to prove costly, especially if Gary steps up here. Gary's got 114 in the 6th frame. He strikes here. He's going to definitely put the heat on. It looks like he's made some really good mental changes with balls. That looks like that's high. And it's light. He leaves a 6-pin. So it looks like he picks this up strikes 213 to Ryan's 194. Gary will probably take a 36-pin lead into Game 3 over Ryan Nicholas. And I take that back. I'm sorry. That match is over. Ryan Nicholas has been eliminated from the tournament. Looks like David Grooms has gone down to defeat, with Nick West winning that match. Johnny Leggett has defeated Les Forgash. Let's take a look at the middle of the house here. Okay, we've got Eric Jensen, Hugh Miller. It looks like Eric has an 18-pin lead with 7 frames to go over Huey. Hugh's having some issues this pair of lanes. And when Hugh's having issues, he averages about 220, by the way. So, you know, when he struggles, it's 220. The rest of us, that's really good. And I think we'll stay here on camera 2 for a minute and see what's going on down at the low end of the house. So Rob Edwards has defeated Kyler Crevier on 3 and 4. And Daniel Jackson is up by 14 against Ryan Losley. So it looks like the close matches are going to be down here on 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. It looks like Tucholsky has easily handled Jake Clemson, but Jake's still alive. He was in the winner's bracket. Okay, right now, key shot for Dan Jackson right here.
I'd like to present this trophy to Johnny Leggett.
Oh, and he goes flat 7. Doesn't quite get the 4 out of the channel. Hugh Miller. And he leaves an 8, and Hugh just cannot catch a double on this pair. You know, he was going to shoot a small 6. You know, last year that didn't happen. He was pretty strong, high 6s and 700s every single match. And Hugh misses an 8-pin. Unbelievable turn of events. And Eric's probably just licking his chops. For Hugh to miss that in that situation, not expected at all. So now Eric steps up here and he strikes. He is going to open up about a 40-pin lead on Hugh. It'll be interesting to see will Eric show any emotion here, or will he just remain stoic and get the job done? Let's see. Playing 6th arrow. Okay, the baby split. That's makeable. Uh-oh, in trouble for Dan Jackson. When it looked like he was gonna stay in the lead, he goes big four. Ryan Losley can get up here and make things tough on Dan. And Eric opened. Eric missed the baby split. I'm kind of having to toggle back and forth between cameras here to see both matches. And we're going to watch Ryan throw his shot here. He's on a 3-bagger. Really taking his time here. You can see the concentration. And he goes through the face. Wow. And so that match is in a dead heat. So we're going to have 2 matches that are neck and neck right to the end. It's going to be Jensen Miller and Losley Jackson. All fighting for their lives in the winner's bracket. The good thing for all 4 of these players is none of them will be eliminated. The losers of these 2 close matches will just fall to the loser's bracket. So wow, looking at the numbers now, after 27 frames, Daniel Jackson has a slim 13-pin advantage as Ryan takes a re-rack. There goes Hugh Miller, far right. Carries a strike. Let's switch over to that match real quick. Okay, he was getting up right now. He's going to let Ryan go, so I'm going to switch cameras. Okay, Ryan Losley, 8th frame. He trails by 13 pins. He's on lane 7, playing the outside line. And he goes flat 10 pin. So it's anybody's match down there. Let's see what Hugh can do now. Hugh going for his first double in quite some time. Ooh, and he just pured it on the lane he's been having trouble. So looking at that match right now, Eric has an 8-pin lead on Hugh with 4 frames remaining. What an exciting finish. And once again, I'm going to switch over to Mr. Pajama Pants, Daniel Jackson Jr. Ryan covers the spare. Here goes Dan in the 8th frame, playing the deep inside line around 4th arrow, and he pures it. Eric Jensen, beautiful shot playing inside. Just caught that on the right there. Okay, pivotal shot here for Dan. 9th frame. Beautiful shot. Okay, coming into view here shortly will be Eric Jensen on the far left side of your screen. He's on a double. He's got 86 in the 5th with a double up. He's got a small lead on the defending champion, Hugh Miller. Oh, and looks like he grabbed that one at the bottom just a little bit, and it chained up, and a disastrous split. And that's going to make things a dead heat with him and Hugh. And, you know, it's really surprising. It's going to take a small number to win that match. And here goes Ryan Losley, 9th frame. And he trips the 4-7. Okay, back over to Eric. Eric's just going for count here. And here goes Ryan Losley in the pivotal 10th frame. Pretty much a must-strike situation right here for Ryan. He's got no hope if he doesn't get one here. Looks good. Oh, and he goes flat 10. And that match is over. Daniel Jackson is 3-0. Here goes Hugh Miller. Key, 8th frame. And he trips a 6-pin high. All 59 and a half years old of Hugh Miller, and he can still get it done when the fronts get dry. He knows how to throw it very direct and hard, and hey, that separates him from the rest of the bowlers around here. I mean, he's got the tour experience that no other player has. You know, out of these 141 players, no one has the credentials that Huey's got. Hugh's won over $1 million on the national tour. Okay, pivotal 9th frame right here. Hugh can really almost put the nail in the coffin if he strikes right here. And he does. Now, let's go back over and watch Dan Jackson in the 10th frame, because he did leave a big 4 earlier. And so looking at the scores here, Dan needs a 189. So actually, you know what? Dan just needs to keep it on the lane. That match is over. Beautiful shot. Dan advances. Dan is 3-0. So, let's see. Marcus Winkelplek is undefeated. Dan Jackson's undefeated. Eric Jensen, 9th frame. Great shot. I believe Craig Tucholsky is undefeated. So 3 of our 4 undefeated people have been determined, with 1 to be determined with the match we're watching now. The winner of the Jensen-Miller match will advance in the winner's bracket. Okay, Eric's up here in the 10th frame. Perfect shot. Okay, key shot here, because if Eric strikes, he's going to force Hugh to strike in the 10th. This is a very important shot. Throws it perfect. So Eric has 442. If he strikes here, he's going to end with a 643 series. Okay, so the situation is this. Hugh needs a 209 game If Hugh does not strike here, he loses the match. It all comes down to this shot right here. Oh, and he tugged it, and he loses. So, our defending champion, for the first time ever, has lost a match at the Portland Masters. I guess it's only fitting he lost to the top qualifier, Eric Jensen, the only player out of 141 who averaged over 240 for 10 games last week. Well, that was a very exciting finish. So we have our 4 undefeateds. We have 1 left-hander, Daniel Jackson Jr., and 3 right-handers in the undefeated winners bracket left. Craig Tucholsky, Marcus Winkelpleck, and Eric Jensen. We have one more round coming up shortly. And that will be our final 7th round of the day. It'll be commencing in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So there we go. Eric Jensen defeats Hugh Miller by 5 pins. Great matches, guys. Okay, I'm going to go on ahead and update the website